Phase 1 of the Collector of Knowledge project is complete. I'm going to share with you some of the stuff I've done over the last year and what the future holds. You can see I have accumulated a massive amount of stuff. Starting at the beginning of 2025, I decided to try something a little bit different. So I began to accumulate all of the old photos in my family, my own photos, my parents' photos, other friends' photos, family members' photos, and then documents and old journals and letters and correspondence and all of those things. I decided to put everything together in a PowerPoint presentation. I just use PowerPoint, that's just kind of what I used at the time, and it worked perfectly. Over the last year, I've taken all that information, a massive amount of information, and I've put it all together into one document. And I'm going to share with you a little bit today about my findings and what I have learned over this time and what's going to happen over the next year. To begin with, the goal was to connect or reconnect with the past and preserve the history of the people around me. So I started by gathering all of the information that you see here and probably 5 times more than what you actually see here. We have, for example, old photo albums. This is my time in Japan. There's probably 25 of these. Family albums that my parents gave me. There's probably 15 of these. Other photos like my high school days, out and about with my wife before we got married. Random photos, just so many just random photos. Photos from relatives. I have to return these, but these are photos from relatives from a long time ago. And there's so much more here. I have, for example, old high school yearbooks, journals that I wrote. Oh, that fell. Everything's falling. Journals that I wrote over the years. And things that I found at my house that I didn't even know existed. For example, we were cleaning the attic, and then I found this. It looks like my mother put it together. It was all of my birthday cards, Christmas cards, all these things that she's kept, 3 years old, 5 years old, 1 year old, all of that together. And this one was quite interesting. This was a book that she put together when I was born, basically stating, when we first met me and how much I weighed and when I lost my first teeth and my first week of, what I was like whenever I arrived, since I was adopted and stuff. It's all in here. So this was very, very interesting. What else do we have here? These are all photos of people that I visited over the last year. I did a lot of road trips. I got to see a lot of old friends, which I'll talk about in a little while. And back here, there is an old ledger. My father gave it to me, and it has just tons and tons of old business information. Newspaper clippings, cards from the 60s and 50s, just such random things. I'm actually still working on this and trying to even get some of the cursive translated because I can't even understand a lot of it that's there. Some other stuff that came along, this is quite interesting. I had some letters that I used to receive from friends in high school. And I used to send them letters, and they sent me letters. And for some reason, my mother kept all of the old letters that I had. And that's what this album is. Basically, it's all of my old letters that my friends sent me. And I contacted a couple of these friends, and I asked them, do you still have the letters that I sent you? Because usually it's, I send one, they send one back. Or because I'm a guy and they're a girl, they're usually sending 2 to me, and then I'd finally write back to them. And I had one friend in particular who photocopied, she still had them all of my letters that I wrote to her over the years. So she went to the Staples and she photocopied all of them and was able to send them to me. So now I have her letters to me, my letters, so I can connect them all and get a full glimpse of everything about my life back in the mid-90s, whenever I was in high school, mostly junior high a little bit too. So these are fascinating. And this is actually going to be something important that I'm going to be working on in phase 2 of the Collector of Knowledge project. And, oh, what's this? Oh, whenever I was in university, I joined Taekwondo in Halifax, this place here, and this was their flyer that they had. And for some reason, I kept it. It's all these little things that are quite interesting that you just find as you're doing a project like this. And it's just really, really cool. After seeing all of these photos, and I realized that whenever I was younger, I was much more adventurous, much more spontaneous. I did so many things just out of the blue, or I wasn't afraid to experiment with things. But as you get older, that changes. And you get married, you have kids, you have to create stability for the family. All of those things that happen in a life, you do. So over the last decade or so, my life became kind of, I guess you call it vanilla. And it was good. Everything was fine, but there was no excitement. And in 2025, I decided to change that and see, you know, what can I do? Let's be a little bit more spontaneous. Go visit different people. See what else is out there in the world other than just kind of what's around my day-to-day life. So that's exactly what I planned to do, and that's exactly what I did. 2025 was a great success, and I got to meet so many old friends, and I just want to thank all of my old friends that I met with over the last year. You have no idea how important that was to me at this time in my life to be able to reconnect with all of you great people. So I just want to thank you. These are only some of the pictures of the people I met with, and I had hosted 3 events over the last year, and one was here at the house, and one was in Bathurst at my family house, and then there was another one here in Fredericton for all different groups of friends, people that maybe they didn't overlap in high school or whatnot, but I was connected with all of them, so I just put everyone together, and it was quite interesting because I got the joy of meeting these people after 20 years, but then after I got to meet them, I had them come together, and it was really, really interesting to see them meet each other. And they haven't seen each other for probably 20 years. It was quite interesting to be able to see, you know, all of that that's happened. I truly want to thank everyone that answered my emails and thought it would be interesting and fun maybe to meet up again. I'm going to give you some of the numbers because the numbers was kind of everything that I did over the years here, over the last year. And I love keeping track of numbers and organizing. So this was a perfect project for me. Here are the numbers. Oh, but before that, another reason why I did this, because I was feeling, like I said, vanilla, and it was stale. You know, mentally I was blah, and then physically I was blah. I was 338.8 pounds. That was the weight I did in my first video. So if you go back to the first video, you can see I was bigger. And I'm still big, don't worry about that. But there's an update on my weight also that I'll give you towards the end of the video. Let's take a look at the numbers, what we have here so far. As you can see, I have the starting weight, 338.8 pounds, December 21st, 2024. I'll tell you the rest later about that. I contacted 117 people that I tried to reach out to. People from high school, university, maybe old work, things like that. And out of the 117, 77 people answered me back. Some, the emails didn't work, or they just didn't answer. You know, some people are okay with the past. Let the past be the past. They're not interested. They've moved on. They're not at that point in their life where they want to revisit it. If you asked me 10 years ago, would you do this project? I would have said no. I have no interest in this. You know, it does not matter to me at all. You get to that point where you start to think about these things, and that's where I am now. Out of the 117 people I attempted to contact, 77 responded. That's a 65.8% response rate. So I think overall, for having not talked to some of these people for 20 years, that's a pretty pretty decent response rate. Of those 77 people, I actually went and met in person 23 of them. That's either face-to-face meetings, like I went to their house, or we met in a group, something like that. You know, I physically seen these people face-to-face, and a lot of them, like I say, I haven't seen since even graduation, 1995. Of the 23 people that I met, I visited 13 of them directly to their houses. Because one bottleneck I noticed was making a plan with somebody. So what do? You know, come on over. Okay, we'll meet next month for coffee. Coffee gets canceled, blah, blah, blah. There's always reasons, right? Eliminate all of that. I said basically, I'm coming to you. I will drive to you in Moncton, Bathurst, Halifax, anywhere. I will come to you so we don't have that problem. I'll do all the work and then we can reconnect. And the next one, number of inappropriate stories told about the past. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff we talked about. Things that wouldn't fly today probably, but you know, times were different. You know, things we did were a little different, a little wild. I tell my son some of these stories and he has eyes open wide up like, what? You did that? Yeah, that's how we rolled back in the day. After all of that, we move on to the photos. So there are so many photos. Like this, like I said, this is only about 5, you know, it's probably 5 times more than what you see here. There's just so many. Processed like 10,000 photos. I went through 10,000, probably at least 10,000 photos of everything. My friends sent me photos. My family visited cousins and aunts and uncles, and they had photos. So I looked at probably 10,000 photos over the last year. And out of those 10,000 photos, you can see here in the next one, 7,300 photos kind of made the cut. You know, I either scanned them or they were already digitized, but I took 7,300 of them and actually put them together. I threw them all into a PowerPoint slide. So what I did was I started my PowerPoint. I started with years, 1977, 78, 79, 80. One page, that's all I started with. And then as I started adding, the pages just kept on growing and growing. I usually added 2 photos per page and then labeled each photo. And that's actually an ongoing process, but it's pretty nice right now. So the 7,300 photos equals 3,700 plus pages of PowerPoint. So it started off as one PowerPoint file, but then I soon learned that there's a limit to space in a PowerPoint file. So I had to add another one, added another one. Now I have a PowerPoint for almost every single year. So it doesn't only have the photos, it has a description of the photos. And then if I have a newspaper clipping from that time, I threw that in. If I have an email from that time that I found in old emails I was going through, I'd cut and paste that in. Just everything. So it's a chronological order of everything. And I originally was going to do this just for myself. So 1977, I was born, do that till now. That was kind of the original project, but the thing just ballooned. And then I started going to my parents' old photos, and then my friends' photos, and emails, and letters, and documents, like that ledger back there. I'm still working on that. So now I go back in the past, and I think the earliest photo I have is in the 1880s. It's a cabinet card of, I believe it's my probably great-grandfather in PEI, my mother's grandfather. And it was them whenever they were in Maine, I think they took a photo, went to a studio and took a photo. So my oldest photo is probably 1885, up until yesterday. I added some new photos. All of that equals over 7,000 photos and PowerPoint presentation of 3,700 plus pages. And of those photos, pictures of my parents, my mother and father, before they met each other, because that's, I have these cutoff lines, before they met, when they were together, before my brother came, before I came, you know, all of them, I have it all broken down like this. And I have 250 photos of my parents before they met each other. And it's fun to then print them out and then show them to my father, who then shows them to his relatives and stuff like that. Is actually, the goal is to eventually get the 3,700 pages printed and put into binders. And I would say, like, you know, 1960s, 1970s, 1981, 82, 83, 84. But that's 3,700 color pages I need to print. So that will cost a little bit of money and take a little bit of time. But that's the end goal of what we have. But I just wanted to show you, for example, this is my mother's album. My father's album. For example, there's newspaper clippings and stuff. There's that was when the house burnt down, the old farmhouse, back in the 60s. And then that's my father whenever he was, I think, 18 years old. In here, for example, it is all basically photos of back in the day. The old house, on horses, and then I have everything kind of labeled with who the people are, and I've talked to him and talked to other people about explaining who all the people are. Try to get everything labeled so this knowledge won't be lost forever. Done that for my father, done that for my mother, and the most fun I've had this year was this album. This is 1995 until it's basically just high school. So it's photos all from high school. So some of them my friends sent me, and then other ones I just had on my own. Old newspapers that one of my friends had. She had so many old print material, the old high school newspapers, junior high school newspapers, newspaper clippings. So I was able to take photos of pretty much everything and then added it to here. Prom photos, and there's just so many photos. Safe grad, parties we had at the house, you know, and then under each photo, I just labeled it. And then I showed them to my old friends, and then they corrected me. They say, oh no, this wasn't up at the camp, this was at somebody's house party. And it wasn't 1998, it was probably 1996 because this person had long hair in 1996 and they knew that they didn't have long hair in 1998. They got their hair cut. It was great, and so everyone enjoyed this album. Whenever I had my little reunions, I would pull this out for them to enjoy. What other numbers do I have? I've made a complete mess here, but doesn't matter. It's all okay. Solo photos. So these are photos just of me. I was just like, okay, how many photos can I find of myself? 290 photos. That's from me as birth until now. And I noticed my brother had way more photos. He's older than me, so of course, firstborn, they took more photos of him. Not jealous, it's all okay. I know how it works. Group photos with me in it. This was stuff I used to think was important. I wanted to keep track of it. It really doesn't matter anymore. You know, I was just kind of curious. So 1,550 photos that I'm in as part of a group. And then you can see 10,000 total photos that I probably processed over the years. So that was all stuff I did on my end with family. But then while I'm reaching out to all of my friends, I told them, send me your photos, send me your documents, which was in this album mostly, right? Thank you, everyone. This was so fun. There's pictures I've seen I never seen before. There's a picture, for example, of me with my mother that was very emotional because my mother passed away a couple years ago. So to see that picture I didn't even know existed was unbelievable. So I thank everyone for doing that for me, okay? There was over 400 photos that old high school and university friends sent that I've added to all of this. So it has a beautiful, you know, flow from 1995, 96, 97, and then now it's labeled, it's documented, it's perfect. I'm sure it's going to grow as I keep reaching out to more and more people. And you can see the weight is there, but I'm still not going to tell you what the weight is. You got to wait a little bit longer for that, okay? That is all phase one. It took longer than I thought, but phase one is complete. This was mostly about me, phase one. Phase two is different. Actually, I'm launching something in May 2026. I'm going to redo the YouTube page, take a couple things down that don't matter anymore, change it all around. All the social media is going to be completely changed around. And the focus here is still history. It's the present, the past, and the future. I have a couple new things I'm going to add But one of the things that, out of all of this stuff, that was most interesting were the old letters, the old correspondence. It was just so interesting going back to that time, reading those things, and then just being like, wow, it's a snapshot in time. This is what I felt. This is how I was living at this point in time. And I think more people would feel an impact from that if they actually had this type of stuff. Because the goal isn't to really to, reminisce, yes, on the past, but to feel like, oh, I wish I could have went back there. That's all fine. But it's to take that, remind you of who you were, and if that was a positive point in your life, and you're not feeling so positive now, take that and implement it into your life now, and then you can change everything. Everything that you have going on in your life, you can change it. At least I have. My way of thinking, my health, everything has changed because I was able to look in the past and realize how happy I was and realize I wasn't as happy now. And then, something needs to change. And that's what I hope to do in phase 2. So I'm not going to explain too much about phase 2. It's going to launch in May. There's a research part of it. There's the YouTube page of it. I have a website being launched in May. There's of course a business aspect of it because I want to be able to keep doing this, but it's taking up a lot of time. So I have to make it worthwhile, and I want to meet so many more people, and those things have costs. I need to add a couple more, things to it. One big thing I'm going to do is the YouTube page and all the social media are going to have themed days. So these days I'm going to talk about specific topics and different things that interest me or may interest you, and talk to different people and just kind of spread that, so it'll allow you, if you choose to do something like this, or maybe give you the motivation to reach out to people that you lost touch with, because you'd be amazed how many people, when you think maybe they won't be interested in talking to me, it's been such a long time ago, when you talk to them, they respond. And they bring you into their life, wholeheartedly. Come on, let's meet. I've had a couple situations where that didn't work out like that, and that's okay. People are at different points in their life, but I wish everyone the best. If people who didn't contact me, it's all okay. It's okay. I don't worry about things like that. I don't let them get to me. I wish you all the best of luck. Phase 2. The daily things I'm going to have on the YouTube page is going to have themed every day. I don't want to tell you too much about it, but here's just a little idea of what we're going to have, okay? Themed days for the YouTube page. For example, Mail Day Monday. I'm going to talk about new arrivals, either from purchases I made of items that people sent me, or focus on old photos or documents. I buy old photos, old documents. I really like buying old letters, stuff from the 1800s, 1900s, things like that. Not my letters, other people's letters. And then reading them. It's amazing. It's just like that snapshot I said that you have whenever you read your own letters of a time. You can do that for other people. And then you can research, what are they talking about when they talk about this bridge that was being made, or this building that, blew up, or things like that. That's what I like to do. So on this day, I'm going to talk about that. And I'm hoping that people are going to send me old documents also. So it'll be like a mail day. Get a letter in the mail. We're going to open it up and take a look at it. And then I'll do some research and talk about it. On Tuesday, it's Photo Tuesday. Something like, Mail Day Monday, where I'll talk about usually 1 or 2 photos, either that I have here, my own stuff, or photos from anywhere. Like I say, I collect old photographs, early photography from the mid-1800s to late 1800s. So I'm going to probably talk about some of those photos, because there's some wild stuff that was photographed back in the day that you'd be shocked at. Wacky Wednesday. Wacky Wednesday. That's going to be a whole fun day. I don't know if you've ever done it. I've done it once or twice, where I just had something. So, for example, this Taekwondo thing. Okay, got that in university. Didn't want it, but it's like, okay, what am I going to do? Throw it in the garbage? So I've actually done this a couple times, and this is probably what I'm going to do on Wacky Wednesday, is I'm going to put this in an envelope, maybe put a little note, like, here you go, something random. If you want to send me something random, you know, here's my address. I'm going to find a random address somewhere in Canada, United States, around the world, and I'm just going to send it. And then just wait. And these people are going to get the envelope and be like, what the heck is this? They're going to look at it, they're going to wonder what it is. So I'm probably going to put a little letter, you know, this is part of my YouTube page. If you want to check out the YouTube page, blah, 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 go check it out. But I'd love you to send me something random back. So that might integrate into Mail Day Monday, because hopefully after a while, people are going to send me stuff back. So every Wednesday, I'm going to make a little letter, some sort of package, maybe put some coins in it, paper money, some stamps, some collectibles, just random stuff that I don't have much value, and then just send it, and then just kind of see what happens. Okay? So that's possibly what Wednesday is going to be like. Thursday, Time Capsule Thursday. This is directly connected, same as Friday, Futuristic Friday. This is directly connected to my website I'm going to have in May, and kind of the business aspect of what I'm planning on doing. You'll have to stay tuned to that, but time capsule, you know, what are we talking about here? You know, you can imagine, you know what a time capsule is. So this is going to be part of my business of what I'm going to be doing. Futuristic Friday, Blast from the Past Saturday, that's just stories about reconnecting. So it's either me reconnecting with people or stories that I've heard about where, you know, maybe brother and sister got separated whenever they were 15 and then they meet whenever they're 85 years old. Just things like that. Interesting stories I come across. Okay, and then last one, in-person Sundays. So these are actually going to be videos or posts from other people. I can't do everything, and I don't want to do everything. You know, I have lots of other things to do. I'm going to probably connect with people, and if they have, say, a presentation, 30-minute presentation about genealogy or, you know, old document preservation or old photos, I'm going to ask them if I can have their video and use their video, put it onto my page. And then that's what Sundays would be, basically. Other people sharing information about stuff from the past. Hopefully that can be actually a good resource that people are going to use in the future. Probably told you already a little bit too much about what's happening, so I won't be making another video. This format of video is actually over. It's going to change after this. I'll be dressed differently. The setup will be different. The focus won't be on me. It'll be on all the other stuff. So you'll notice a noticeable change in May, whenever that all launches. So from now until May, this is my last post. This is my last weight update probably ever, because that was for you guys, my friends and family personally. That's not going to continue whenever I start having other people who don't know me being like, why is he talking about his weight? Like, whatever, man. When I started my kind of lifestyle change, I wouldn't call it a diet. I just started eating differently, started changing what I do every day. My weight was 338.8 pounds. I used to weigh myself every day, and in the past, and I'd just get so frustrated because one day it's up, one day it's down. So I decided to weigh myself every 2 weeks, every second Saturday morning, and not thinking about it during those times. I started with 338.8, and then it was 331, and over the course of the year, I had every second week weigh-in. I did not gain weight in any of the weigh-ins. So every week, my weight, every second week, my weight went down. Down, 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 down. 305, 298. And then it just kept on going. I had a streak of the entire year where my weight did not go up. Sometimes it broke even. See if I can find a break even here. Oh, there it is. 285.2, 285.2. It just stayed the same, but it did not go up. And the streak continued until New Year's. Kept going down, down, down. 265, 264, 261. That's just before Christmas. And then we had Christmas. Oh no, that was just before Christmas. Then we had Christmas and New Year's. 264.4. And then 2 weeks after New Year's, 258.8. And then my most recent weigh-in, 255.0. That is 83.8 pounds lost basically in 2025 with month in January of 20. I just started that casually. I just thought I'll write down the weight, and I didn't know. And it's so messy now, but I don't want to change it or redo it. I feel like I'll jinx myself. You know, just like my belt, I have different holes punched in the belt. I think I have 4, and the belt's getting so long now, like it's way over here. I should get a new belt, but I just keep pumping holes in it because I just feel like I'll jinx myself. I didn't think I was like that, but, you know, I guess I am. So that's phase 2, and you're probably wondering what phase 3 is, or when will phase 3 start. That's the last phase that we have. And the answer is I don't know. And what is phase 3? Can't tell you. You gotta wait and see. Let's just say phase 2 I know will be complete whenever I can say Canada and US are all set up. And then phase 3 will begin for the Collector of Knowledge project. So I guess that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I know it was quite long, but I hope you enjoyed it, and you got a great update here. And I hope people enjoy this, because, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it more for myself, but I'm glad people are watching it. So as you see, we started with Hulk Hogan, the introduction song to Hulk Hogan. So we're going to end with another wrestling song. I got my mic here. I'm feeling my Dwayne Johnson in me. So I'm going to try it out, okay? Ready? If you smell what the Collector of Knowledge is cooking. Doom.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
This video is not approved by that jabroni, just this jabroni.